Welcome to More Action, the podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals. I'm your host, Shelly Bryan, and together we have candid conversations with industry leaders to uncover valuable wisdom and lessons learned. My hope is you use these lessons to intentionally take more action in business and life. I hope you share and enjoy. Welcome back here to the More Action Pod. I am incredibly excited today because I haven't even announced this on social media. And I'm not quite sure when this episode is going to hit, but just know that when it does, this show has hit over 5,000 downloads. I am so excited. I don't know if you guys okay, I get it. With like Huberman Lab, that's nothing. He also has sponsors and lots of money. This show has gotten to this point because of each and every one of you. And I cannot literally share my gratitude anymore. I just thank you so much. It sounds like the topics, or it feels like, based upon the data, you know, I love looking at data. The data is telling me that this show is resonating with all of you and that your shares, your telling people about it is literally helping it grow. I don't have any ads on here. This is 100% a pure way of me paying it forward to you. So thank you so much. And with that, of course, I am going to call out a review because this is one of the ways that you can help this show now go, right? The next milestone is 10,000 downloads. So by leaving a quick review, and you'll hear today's is very short, you could literally help this show get in front of someone just like us. So thank you so much. Just tap, leave a review, hit the 5-star, drop a sentence, and you're good to go. Should take about 10 seconds. But today's review comes from Building AZ. I love it. Probably like a fellow construction business person here in the Valley of the Sun. But they state, time well spent. Love the podcast. Shelly organizes her topics in a way that listeners can apply the knowledge gained immediately. Hell yeah. Because listen, at the end of the day, I understand that this is an investment of your time listening to the show, and I want to leave you with actionable tactics, strategies, information that you can apply right away. So I spend the time, I make sure to organize it, and Building AZ, thank you for recognizing it, because that is my main goal, for you to take more action in your career, your professional life, your life, whatever it is for you. So today's topic, because I want to dive in here, today's topic is much like other ones in the sense that this is real world. So I'm going to be sharing a real life example of something that happened to me and how I was able to move through it. And I believe I am so passionate about sharing wisdom and experience in hopes of helping someone else do the same. So literally, I am fully fulfilled if this episode helps just one person. What I will guarantee is this episode will challenge you. It will, because we have to be challenged. We have to be uncomfortable in order to make change. If you stay in comfortability, you are not going to grow. You are not going to change. So stay tuned, stay all the way to the end. I'm going to, of course, provide you a perspective shift to help you take more action. But this episode, and I hope you're actually seeing my new hairstyle I got. I can't believe my hair is this color right now, but you can jump over to YouTube. You can watch me there and see exactly how animated I am with my hands. But I'd love to connect with you over on YouTube, LinkedIn, and or Instagram, because having that community is so important. And so those are the platforms I am on, and those are the platforms where I find a lot of high achievers are on too. So those are the people we got to stick together. All right. So let's dive in here, because I was just reviewing kind of my past, and you know, I'm a huge advocate. It's not looking back, it's looking back and analyzing, where did I do well? What would I have done different now that I have new experience? And one of those things was I held a very long corporate career. Over 16 years, I was with one organization for 13 years. And I started thinking about, because I started a side hustle in 2010 while I was still in my corporate career. I was like doing other things, but I never took the jump. I never left. And I started thinking about it, like, what was it? What was it back then? And there was a couple things. Like I've talked about the golden handcuffs. I was in the pharmaceutical industry, and whew, the golden handcuffs are strong and bold. And that was definitely something that kept me in that position for quite some time. But when I'm really honest with myself, what kept me there so long was actually my fear of what others would think and how they would judge me. Yep. If you know me, which I hope you're getting to know me here on this show, and I can't wait to get to know you more, is that probably seems pretty odd coming from me. I'm pretty bold. I've always been bold. I've always taken action, but I've been kind of quiet about it. And I haven't taken action in my past because I was fearful of what others would think from me, think of my actions. And so I want to start this off by just asking you, what is really preventing you from taking action on a goal that you have? Like, do you have an idea that you've had in your business or your career that you've been sitting on? It's been weighing on your heart and you really want to do something about it, but you're not doing it. What's truly holding you back? Is it the money? Is it the lack of experience or a potential skill? Is it your time? Is it your age? Ooh, that's a good one. Could it be your family, right? Or could it be just the fear of the judgment of others, like it was for me? And like I said, I'm going to kind of go through some different things in my life on how I got to this and how this isn't like this fear is gone. I still have it. I have just learned how to work through it. I have strengthened that muscle to be able to push through it. And when I reflect on times in my past careers where I felt completely stuck, it is 100% because I felt that others would judge me. And in it was 2018, I finally took the leap after 16 years in pharmaceuticals, right? And I was started in sales and then I was in marketing after it was, well into six figures. I had the car, the insurance, the retirement package. I literally had everything. And I finally took the leap. Like those golden handcuffs weren't strong enough anymore. And I had to let go of the judgment. And I went into entrepreneurship. That was my first time where I fully walked away from a very successful career in 2018. And guess what? They judged me. They did. All the people that I worked with thought I was crazy. They judged me. My family judged me. I had friends judge me. But you know what? By doing that, I also realized that no longer did their judgment of me have any strength over me anymore. You know why? Because I did something that most will never do. I took action. I stopped listening to the stories I was telling myself and let go of the strangle of judgment others had over me. And like I said, not only was it my peers in my career, my clients, family, it was everybody. And guess what? This has happened multiple more times. Because you know that business I left for in 2018? Talked about it here on the show. It failed. Surprise. It was a franchised restaurant. And in under a year, I had to shut it down. I lost over 7 figures in this business. Long story about franchising. I'm totally against it. But guess what? My business failed. And people judged me again. Surprise. But again, their judgment had no strength over me. I was doing things that others wouldn't do. And you know what else I was getting? Experience. Each time I did something that others didn't approve of or others didn't like me doing, they judged me. But also at that same time, I was strengthening a skill and a muscle of resilience. I knew after I kept doing what I feared others would judge me for, and they did, it was like expected, I was becoming stronger and stronger, and I was gaining more experience. And this even happens in, I just talked about, right? Like the first business I did. I had another business. That one was closed because of a poor partnership. But here's the thing that I gained. Not only I told you about the the resilience, but I also gained experience that I would have never gotten had I stayed in that initial career that I was in for 16 plus years. I would have never been able to build a culture in a team. I would have never been able to learn business from an ownership perspective as opposed to an employee perspective. And so I gained experience I never would have had access to in corporate. In corporate, I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful for that experience I had. But I would have never gained this new level of experience. And I'm just even talking about careers, but even in things that you do for fun. I show horses and compete in horses. I left a long-term trainer and moved to a different one. Guess what? People judged me. And this comes back to another thing that I talk about a lot on the show here. And that is that you cannot control anyone but yourself. And so others are going to judge you. Their judgment has no control over me. It did. It definitely did for years. But once I did what they would never do and left that career or left that horse trainer, they judged me. I can't control that, but their judgment had no strength over me. And it gave me more opportunities to strengthen my resilience and apply new experiences. And so now, as Chris and I run a highly successful construction company, none of it, right now, the experience that we are having right now in the growth of our construction company would ever have been possible without taking that action, breaking free from others people's judgment, failing time and time again, so that I could learn real quick what doesn't work and apply what does. Now, here's what's funny is when I left corporate, I did something super crazy. I opened up a restaurant. Do you know how much restaurant experience I had? None. Zero. I did have experience building a team in corporate. I did have experience with a really poor culture, so I knew how to build a good culture when I built the restaurant. Now that then I moved on to media. That partnership was in media. Do you know how much experience I had in media? Very little, almost none. People judged me. I kept moving forward. And now I'm in construction. You know how much experience I had in construction? Very little. But here's one thing that I can say is that, do you know how much experience I have now with running a business and building a team? More than most. And I am proud of that. I am proud of those failures. I am proud of breaking free of that judgment of others so that I took massive action to build my skills to get where we could have this business right now. And guess what? As we continue to grow, others in our peer groups, they're going to judge me. I get it. It's fine. It almost makes me smile now. And that judgment has turned into a sense of pride because I have this like light that I want to show others what's possible. It's part of what we do here on the show, is that breaking free of that judgment of others. And I encourage you, right now, stop waiting for that right time. Or if you were like me, the other's judgment, and take a moment today. Consolidate those thoughts, write them down, and take action to put that plan into place. Now, that sounds very basic, right? Like goal setting. We don't do goal setting. I'm going to shift your perspective here. And this one, it's going to call you out a little bit. And I hope you're okay with it because that's what I would want someone to do for me. And so I wanted to offer you just this one step, this one new perspective if you are not taking action because of other people's judgment. I want to show you how much people remember. So I ask you, do you remember the date? This might be a little morbid, so just stick with me, you'll get the point. But do you remember the date that Steve Jobs died? Nope, me neither. I didn't even look it up before this podcast because it's irrelevant. You know what I remember about him? I remember about the actions he took and the lives he continues to impact today because he never let the judgment of others stop him from taking massive action. And so another perspective is we all have a finite, right? We all have kind of the time is not renewable. And I aspire to continue to take action, not letting anyone know that their judgment has ever held me back, and inspiring others to do it. Because just by taking action, you never know. I get messages like this all the time. I actually just got one from a colleague that I worked with over a decade ago on LinkedIn. Doesn't comment, doesn't like, doesn't do anything to engage with my social media. You know how those people are. Left me a very long message sharing how I inspire them to do something different. So you never know who you're inspiring. And it could be as small as those in your home or those closest to you. And that is enough for you to continue to take action. Stop putting others' judgments ahead of your own. And I got to tell you, if I can do it, so can you. Literally, the only difference between us is the action we take or we don't take. Thank you for tuning into this. Come back next week, and I am going to blow you away with some of the episodes coming up. Don't forget, let's connect on social media. You need someone to help push you or challenge you. I'm your girl. Send me a message and I'll help you through it.